Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Southerner's Northern Garden. And excuse the lighting right now, but I started this process and I figured I would just bring you along with it. I got in all of my shrubs I mentioned on my last video, and these are the Tater tot arborvitae that I was telling you about. Let me grab one right quick. So this is the Tater tot. It only gets about 1 foot to 2 foot tall and wide. So you can see here I'm trying to follow the natural curve of this flower bed. I've got a couple boards that were left over from the building of the shed, and so I have one up there that I figured was a good distance, since these will get about 1 to 2 foot tall and wide, and that'll give me plenty of space to put the row of 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 in here that I mentioned. So I have a 12-foot board down there, and that's the spacing between each shrub. And then the other board, I'm not sure of the exact length, but it looked like a good length to go with. So I'm using that to space it from the outer edge. So let me take you down there and show you how I do this process. And then I'll go ahead and aug these holes. I actually already, before I got my camera out, completed putting the boxwoods in around the maple tree. It was super quick, less than 15 minutes. That's one reason I absolutely love planting these really tiny shrubs with this auger you may can see here on the ground. That is an auger by Power Planter. It connects to my DeWalt drill. I'll put a link to the Amazon page where I got my DeWalt drill. You can actually purchase these augers in different sizes. Some of them you can get on Amazon, some of them have to be ordered directly from powerplanter.com. I believe I ordered this one directly from powerplanter.com because it's a little taller, and you can actually stand and aug the holes instead of having to bend over, which is super nice. So it took me about 15 minutes to get in all of those boxwoods there. I auged all the holes first. I added just a tiny bit of fertilizer. I didn't want to add too much fertilizer because you don't want to push growth on your boxwoods this late in the season, because it will suffer die-off in winter. The winters in Ohio, where I'm at, for some reason it stays pretty warm, or in the years past it has, and then all of a sudden it gets super cold, and that can lead to some boxwood tip burning or complete die-off. So we'll hope to get that addressed. I'm going to take you down here and show you how I am spacing out the rest of this hedge and how I've done it so far, and then you can watch me aug these holes and see how quickly it is to get these shrubs in the ground using just this auger and the tiny 4-inch containers. Let's get going. So just to go over briefly what I did, I went through and moved the mulch out of the way in a little area so I could get the auger down there. If you remember, before I put mulch down, I did run one single drip irrigation line kind of around the edge of the bed, and this auger will cut that line because it has those kind of sharp edges on it if you aren't careful. So I wanted to make sure that was completely out of the way. I did pretty good placement because that's about where the shrubs are going to need to go. It's actually hitting perfectly right here, so I'll have to be careful when I dig that hole. And then the rest of it is slightly behind, so that's perfect spacing for me to move the mulch out of the way a little bit, add my single drip emitters that I need. I will probably be putting a single 2-gallon-per-hour emitter on these because they are smaller shrubs. They shouldn't need 2-gallon-per-hour emitters because they're never going to get of any significant size. So they should have pretty low water needs. Arborvitae can have a little higher water needs, but I haven't experienced that in my garden. It may be a result of the clay soil, but typically on the larger shrubs I will put 2-gallon-per-hour emitters, but one should be sufficient for these, especially planting them this late in the season. They'll be watered good by the sprinklers as well until the fence is put in, because these sprinkler systems back here are still running until they're cut off and the fence is put in. So they'll be getting water 3 days a week from the sprinkler system, and then drip irrigation on these. So I'm gonna get started on auging these holes, and then I will come through and add just a pinch, just a little touch of fertilizer. Not much, as I mentioned, because I don't want to push any significant growth, but I do want these to settle in pretty well over winter. It's still kind of early in the season. There's still a good almost 2 months until our frost dates, so that shouldn't be a significant problem. And then you'll see how quickly this planting is done with this auger. So let's get started. So I wanted to show you briefly what I have left over here. So I've got sprinter boxwood here. Those will go along various borders of the new flower beds. Here are the extra Tater 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 that I have. The wee white hydrangeas, which will be going along the maple in between the boxwood hedge. I have 16 total right here. I think I might try and use every one of them and put every one of them in between that circle. I don't know if they'll fit. I gotta do a little math calculations, but I think 4 would fit fine in each quadrant. And that would just be a huge overflowing mass of wee white hydrangeas surrounded by a hedge of boxwood. And I think that would be glorious in the summer. I've got some strongbox ilex, which I told you about. Is a boxwood alternative, so some things I'm adding to my garden. If I ever do catch boxwood blight and have some issues, I won't have to remove, of course, every boxwood in my garden. These will make some nice interest, so I'll be using these to edge some flower beds as well. These are the barberries that I was telling you about. So this is called Toto. It gets really, really dark, black, purpley foliage on it, you can see here. It's a little more green just because it's been growing in a greenhouse, but that will change a little bit as it gets more sun. These are the roses, the double pink Oh So Easy. We have 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲, which is a different variety than strongbox. It has a little smaller leaves, and then just more boxwood. So that was the delivery I got in today. And this is everything I'll be putting in the ground in the next month. So that's it, everyone. I got these 15 Tater 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 and 11 sprinter boxwood planted in less than an hour. That power planter makes it super easy to plant and very quick. I just added a little bit of fertilizer, as you saw, and I've watered these in so they'll have a good night's rest. The sprinklers will come on tonight for the lawn, so they will get a little bit of water like that as well. I'm assuming these 𝗟𝗶𝗸𝗲 are very similar to Little Giant. So Little Giant I have out front around the blue chiffon hibiscus standard. It's kind of around where my water hose is, right around all the hostas. And those have been in my garden for 3 years. They were some of the first plants that I put in this garden after I got the Green Giants, because I was so impressed with the Green Giants' growth that I put those in as well. And they grew really quickly and they're at their maximum size. They've never been cut on, which I love about them. They just grow in a perfect ball. Now, over winter, the first winter, they did have some flopping with snow on top of it. So that might be something you need to consider and something I will be on the lookout for this fall and this winter when it starts snowing. If we have significant snow, I may just come out here and kind of brush the branches and get those lifted back up a little bit. But the one that I was most concerned about, the Green Giant out front, completely recovered that spring. It looked really bad going into spring, and now you wouldn't even know that it had had a significant snow load kind of damage. So I'm really excited about these. I have a total of 32 of them. So I have one more left from this flat, and I'm thinking about considering also putting them on this side of the entrance to the shed, just as some symmetry and to keep that symmetrical look about this area. I'm not sure yet though. These are also make great specimen plants to just stick around your garden because they don't get very big and they can be tucked into small places. So I might be tucking some around out front in areas because they do stay so tiny, and I need a little more evergreen interest out there as well. But that's it, you guys. I just wanted to bring you along for this quick planting video just to show you how quickly some of this stuff can get done when you're dealing with small shrubs and just got an hour of your time. So that means I've used up, what is that, 26 shrubs, and I only have, 170-ish more to go. Thanks for joining along, guys, and remember, in a world full of hate, be a light. Take care.